everybody, it's Moonhorse.
I don't know what that was. You guys know I don't have a catchphrase, right? I was really far away from the microphone when I did that too. That was weird. No, I'm like right here. It's getting weirdly intimate. Anyway, let's read a story. This is from Reddit user Skullgirl Gamer. Totally epic. The Energy Vampire. Oh my. Hi, Moonhorse.
Hey, baby.
A frequent watcher of your narrations and a fast-evolving fan. I've never seen a fan evolve. That was a little joke. Tiny. Anyway. So, heads up about this story. It isn't about a neck beard or a leg beard, but about a friend who became extremely toxic, and how I had to leave it. Oh boy. A trigger warning. Self-harm, child abuse, abusive friends, and emotional trauma. Oh boy. Oh. I'm already getting that uncomfortable itch. So a little backstory. I'm an autistic female in my mid-20s. I have a couple of learning disabilities such as dyslexia and ADD, attention deficit disorder. I'm not hyper, I just can't focus on tasks well, and I learn best by doing the task rather than reading about it. Which for the most part I've learned to cope with unmedicated. But I've recently been diagnosed with anxiety, still learning how to deal with that, and I have a very severe allergy to chocolate that can kill me, i.e. anaphylactic shock. Jeez, I'm sorry. Now at the time I met the toxic friend, I was working at everyone's favorite redhead with pigtails Wendy's. Oh, joy. I was still living at home, but had to save up to move out with my boyfriend. It was a slog to run through. I was dealing fine, though. I'd only been hospitalized twice before working there, and management knew. In comes a new manager, or rather, a manager in training. I guess I should probably say the cast. TF is toxic friend. BF is boyfriend. RM1 is roommate 1. BFF is best friend. Now, toxic friend came into our work to learn and run a couple of shifts herself and get the hang of it. She was decently nice and definitely had the young and trying to assert themselves vibe. Now, I didn't mind this. She was smart and funny, and I followed instructions well, so we kind of hit it off. I will admit that I had a crush on her for a hot minute. Damn you, bisexual hormones. But when we talked, it became crystal clear that she was straight, even though she looked and acted very butch. This is relevant, I swear. I think she was happy that after she told me about her orientation, that I took her word and didn't make comments like, "Oh, you're just in the closet, you'll learn soon enough," or, "Oh, how will you know if you never tried," or my favorite, "She's too sheltered to know any better." The last one I'm pretty sure would sting really badly. She was homeschooled by abusive parents that resented the fact that she was a woman who didn't fall into their Christian standards of femininity. Eesh. This is a reader warning because this is going to get dark. She was never allowed to leave home, became deeply suicidal, and self-harmed on a frequent basis. Her father's a narcissist who hated having a daughter and dotes on her 2 younger brothers. And especially hated that she was into cars, martial arts, superheroes, and sports. Okay, maybe not that last one, but still, he really made it clear his expectations of her. He sounds like a fucking prick. She would drink bottles of cough syrup and pure vanilla extract to get drunk or to get high just to numb the pain. If it wasn't for rock music, she would have ended it. She survived her time there by convincing them to let her work after getting her GED, and she saved her money to move out on her own since she really didn't have anyone, except for a cat. But I learned all this over time of getting to know her. We started texting and talking over the phone, and she realized how smart I could actually be. Hey, don't take this the wrong way, but what? Well, you kind of have the air of ditzy nice girl with not a lot going on underneath. Harsh, but to be fair, we work in food and we have to have that customer face on all the time. And then what started us becoming better friends was when she was excited about horror movies. More specifically, Vincent Price horror movies. Ooh. Which is something that I as well love, understandably so. For those who are unfamiliar with his work, he was the creator doctor in Edward Scissorhands, or the narrating voice in Michael Jackson's Thriller. And he's fucking amazing. We'd get beer, make pizza and popcorn, watch all the movies. We even started a bingo card / drinking game, or as we like, Vincent Price plot drinking game. Is Vincent Price the villain, or the scorned husband wanting to kill his wife? Or is he the tragic, misunderstood anti-hero that is trying to avenge said wife? Is the wife trying to kill him? Is he a red herring misleading the audience? Those are my fondest memories. But slowly it devolved when I moved out to live with my boyfriend and roommate 1, or Ghost Girl. We all moved in the same day, but instead of sleeping at the apartment, fully settling into the new home, she wanted to spend the night at her parents' place. If anyone is curious, I have a short but stressful story about living with her. Oh boy. Of course, TF had to put her 2 cents in. I don't think roommate 1 is mature enough to move out. And I think you should live with your BF on your own. Well, she's kind of on the lease, so she has to stay until the lease is up, and we can figure out if we want to stay with her or not from then. Well, personally, I don't think you're emotionally stable enough to move out on your own. You kind of have a teenager mentality. Ow! This hit hard due to my autism making it hard for me to deal with things such as an over amount of stimulation, like emotions, bright light, and noise. Also, I have a decent amount of image problems, and one of them is feeling like I'm developmentally behind everyone. I also decided to quit working at Wendy's due to toxic coworkers who kept putting my health at risk and me personally wanting to contribute more than what I was, so I worked at a call center. She again told me that I was making a mistake quitting since I should at least work 1 day at Wendy's because if the call center job fell through, then I'd have a backup. I was pretty miffed at her for lording things over me and kind of bossing me around. So I went to do my own things, i.e. work at the call center and live with roommate 1. Well, both of those things blew up in my face catastrophically. I was jobless, we were down 1 roommate. I didn't want to talk to her or go back to Wendy's because I didn't want to hear, "I told you so, you should have listened to me." So I buckled down and found work at a burrito place. It's kind of like Chipotle, but not as pretentious and actually tastes good. And didn't have 2 foodborne outbreaks. That's always a plus. Anyway, we did reconnect, and I did have to go through the dreaded "I told you so" critique. And things were stable, till I was fired there too. Kinda distraught, I talked to her, and she told me to work with her in Arby's, but then we migrated back to Wendy's. All the while we hung out, first at her place, and then we started the migrating in the city to drink at bars, listen to live music. I would try to play Dutch and pay for myself, but more often than not, she ended up paying for me. This makes me really uncomfortable, since my love language is quality time, and it extends to how I show care for my friends as well. Her paying for me made me feel like a friend whore in my terms, because she felt like I'd only want to spend time with her if she was paying for it. While we were at bars, a few things became apparent. She was very lonely and hated the fact that she was a virgin. She was basically an incel. Angry she wasn't getting laid, hated the fact that only people hitting on her were lesbians and old men who knew better, and kind of had a resentment for me for being in a relationship and the fact that everyone thought we were a couple when we went out together. It didn't help that I'm more feminine and have the gay vibe than her, and she is a butchy-looking tomboy. The femcel. Yes, that's a thing. She also started to make me feel bad for being bi, because I was clam jamming her. Okay, I've never heard that term before, but thank you for putting that in my fucking vocabulary. And since I'm with a guy, I'm technically straight. No, that's not how that works. That's what she wrote, and that's also how I feel. It's not how that works. Like at all. And frankly, the bi-erasure that she was putting me through made me feel less valued. And since she was also my boss at work, the power dynamic in our friendship was shifted. She also began to belittle me at work. And me trying to be a good friend to her tried to laugh it off, but coworkers noticed her behavior and would pull me aside and would ask me what I even saw in her as a friend, especially with how she was talking to me. And then the next incident. Myself and my best friends have been friends for about 6 or 7 years, and we jokingly call each other wifey or spouse. And it's a healthy, balanced relationship that I never get tired of, even with the bumpy and rough points in life. Those two go to meet and have dinner together. Not even an hour later, my best friend left the dinner. Toxic friend started messaging me. Talk about snobby. What? What do you mean? Look at the place that we went for food. It's like really snobbish. And she says she's a chef. Well, I mean, I like that place, and she and I go there pretty often. She actually went to college and became a trained chef, though. But she's also, like, super immature for being 30 and living at home with her family. Toxic friend doesn't know anything about my best friend. She has a lot of health conditions, which have expensive medications, and it's easier to live with her parents. And she has a job, which she pays for a portion of rent and utilities, as well as her health care. So she had no right to throw shade at a person she literally only met once. Also, another alarming red flag was when she offhandedly stated something about our friendship. You know how uncomfortable I was being basically the friend whore? Well, she dropped this little gem on me. I don't think I can afford to go out. I just want to watch movies. Maybe we can hang out at your place? No, I really want to go drinking and explore the city. I don't mind paying for you. Really? Well, I mean, if it isn't too much, but you pay for me like a lot. I like to do something more low-key, you know? No, I like paying when we hang out. It means I get to plan the activities and we can do whatever I want. And it started getting darker with her. Due to being alone and me being her only friend, she was getting suicidally depressed. She would cry about how no one loves her and that I'm her only friend, and no one would miss her if she died. Oh, jeez. If she drank herself to death, she wouldn't be found until work or family calls for a missing person report a week later. I was starting to feel really trapped. Then it happened. I had an anxiety attack so bad I thought I was having a heart attack. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was the trigger until I saw her again. And bam, symptoms flared up. And it was at this point that it was causation, not correlation. I knew that I had to find a different job. So I found a retail job, and I felt more emboldened to leave because she was making friends at work with a few managers around our age. They were even hanging out together without me, and she was having fun. I put in my 2 weeks and planned to move on. I look at the schedule for the last week. I realized she and I worked together. I was dreading it. Flare-ups of anxiety and everything. So the night before, I call off. She blew up my phone the next day. I was so scared that I had boyfriend screen my text and slept and cried. I'd never seen her since. I feel okay posting it here since she never uses the internet and is basically technologically illiterate. But thank you for reading this, and I hope everyone who reads this can use this as a warning sign. Toxic people aren't always the people you date. It could be a family member, best friend, even a coworker. Once you figure it out, you need to leave them or cut them out of your life. They will drain you, and yes, they can be interesting people. That's why I put up with so much of her behavior, because it was very gradual and not all at once until the end. But you don't have to put up with it. Everyone deserves love. With toxic people, they need to learn how to love. Anyway, have a good day and hopefully a wonderful night. Okay. Skullgirl Gamer, that's a weird way to address you, but that's your Reddit name, so I'm going to say it. You are fucking 100% right. After dealing with a bunch of really toxic people in my life, It's hard. It's really hard to cut these people out of your life, especially because some of them you've known for a very long time. Some of them could be friends. Some of them feed you lines of bullshit about how, they trust you and you should trust them and all this other stuff. But a lot of these people, they're not interested in that. They're interested in what they can get from you. So they'll tell you anything to get you to stick around. I had to go through some shit like that not too long ago. And honestly, it takes a while to get over it. It's not an easy thing to pull away from something like that, because you're so convinced that these people are just, that they have issues, but they're still your friends, or they're still someone you care about, or, but no, it's at this stage, I'm just angry. I'm just angry and upset that I let someone get to me like that I let someone hurt me in that way. Because you always hope that you're smarter and that you're better and that you're able to identify, anything like that and know how to get around it and how to basically do better and not have to be in a situation where you're stuck with those kinds of people. But a lot of it is very gradual, and you don't realize it's happening until it's kind of right there, and then you have to deal with it. But you can pull away from those people. You can do better. You can find better people. You don't have to live with that kind of shit. It's hard, but you never have to go through it alone. It's the beautiful thing about this wonderful community we've all built, guys. It's, if you need help, you can always reach out. And you know that we all love each other. And I love you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you, Skullgirl Gamer, for sharing this story. It really is something that needs to be said. You guys take care of yourselves. I love you all so very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.